Back again for Sonic and Mario Tidbits. I'm Skull902, and it's time to have a look at Season 3 of the show, which is where I'd say things start improving. It had the shortest run of any season if we're going by calendar dates, with the episodes released between June and August 2011. Originally, we were going to do a Captain M-based plot, but a lack of sprites meant the season had to be rewritten. Our storyline here is about the Chaos Emeralds being shattered. Here are my thoughts. So, as stated before, the plot of Season 3 was going to be based on the Captain N cartoon. Kevin, Princess Lana, Mega Man, Simon, Kid Icarus, all them, Mother Brain, and it was going to tie into the original version of Season 5, but, sprites of the Captain N characters were not terribly abundant back then, so that necessitated a quick rewrite about 4 months before the season came out. And since Rabid wrote most of that Captain N plot, I thought it would be nice to ask him to come up with the new plot together. So we have this one about the Chaos Emeralds being shattered. And I feel like this is like the least memorable of all the seasons, but the seeds of improvement do start to blossom a bit. And it was very efficient too, because I went and wrote all the scripts and then did all the frames for each episode before any of them came out. So when I had all the voice acting come in and everything, I could just make the episode real quick. So that was a real good productive time making this season.
Amy, can you tell me why we're metal detecting again? Huh, my voice sounds different. Must have been that medicine I smuggled.
By this time, I had realized how bad my original Shadow voice was, so I changed it to something more typical of Shadow voices from fans back then, and the medicine joke comes back for this one, so thought it would be a perfect explanation for the change.
Yeah? So that I can get some money. Do you know how much this show pays? I can hardly get food and pay the bills with that.
Amy's lack of pay, I think, was meant to be a running joke, but it never really went anywhere. If I remember correctly, it was a semi-recurring joke that I would make to Rabid on Skype whenever we would talk back in the day, but the memory of it is hazy.
I'm just saying, it's kinda silly, you know?
Ow! Who the hell?
Man, that sure was egregious. Certainly would have written that line differently nowadays. So, like I said, the improvement was steady, but sometimes you would get moments like this that were like, I don't know, this just seems a little too out of place.
Yeah, Luigi and I were just freezing up into that icy place, and then all of a sudden we saw these 6 shards fly from the sky. We placed them together like a puzzle, and they looked just like the emeralds, so we took them here so Tails could confirm.
I remember when I was recording this line, it took so many takes to do, and I even put one of them in the blooper reel, if I remember correctly. Like, I did the line the whole way through, and then I was like, wow, that take was fucking terrible. This one right here was definitely one of the more difficult lines to read out during the early Sonic and Mario era.
Something doesn't seem right. This isn't how the show usually goes. Strange.
Sonic starts to become skeptical of this whole shebang, and I feel like, had I really thought about it, I could have written this to be way more interesting than it ended up being. As I was watching this episode for this project, I thought about it and I was like, it really could have been a trap, it could have been something else. All these possibilities ran around in my head, but instead it concluded with a bit of a lame joke, which I'll talk about later.
Does anybody feel like we're here for no reason?
You can hear it in her recordings here, but this was around the time that KN's blue snowball mic started to die. It served her well, though, but you could definitely tell that the quality is starting to get worse.
You hear that, director? Have combinations that make some sense, Dad! Ooh, look, a jewel!
Rouge calls me out here as a bit of a continuation of the feud between her and I, that running gag.
That's like asking, hey Rouge, why did your personality change between seasons?
The director thought the old one was inappropriate and in bad taste.
And I'm throwing a little bit of a lampshade on Rouge's new personality. Again, as I said in the previous video, some younger viewers were starting to come in, and I wanted to change the tone of the show a bit. So the Rouge hitting on people gag, which was already very overdone, and I realized that when I decided to make the change, it wasn't going to fly. So Rouge gets a personality change just a bit. She's toned down. And honestly, I think for the better. Except for the fact that this also coincides with her appearing less in the show. So that ultimately kind of went nowhere, but there we go.
So why do you think the emeralds aren't coming back together, Tails?
It must be because we don't have the 7th emerald.
Out of all the times that I could have included the Master Emerald in the series, this definitely should have been it, because I feel like with the Chaos Emerald shattering and the uncertainty of what that means, the Master Emerald definitely could have helped that in some way. So, another missed opportunity. I mean, their base of operations is on Angel Island, for God's sake. Why didn't I think to include it somewhere? This montage works fine as a montage, but I wanted it to be more like an AMV, like the bit in the first episode. That being said, like my syncing to the beats of the Angel Island song just did not work, and Windows XP Movie Maker just did not have the visual effects necessary to really do that well. I mean, again, it works fine as a montage, but not as something like AMV inspired. But we do have some references and firsts as well. Like the Chaotix cameo, for instance. Vector and Charmy are just kind of jamming out. They're not a part of the search whatsoever, but I just wanted to include them somewhere this season. And as you'll notice, Espio is not with them, as he's serving his jail time. And the first use of a shot exclusively with classic Sonic sprites as well. The image is all sorts of fucked up because I put some kind of filter on it with Movie Maker, but that is classic Sonic in Ice Cap Zone. And again, the first time I believe I composed a frame with just classic Sonic sprites, classic Sonic character, all that sort of stuff. So interesting in that respect, at least to me. You can't see it due to the framing of the shot, but I did actually add a little dome to the top of the Death Egg Robot's design with the shattered 7th emerald in it, which I'll show right here. And it's mistakenly referred to as an egg robo as well, so great job on me not doing my research and, just doing a little bit of a check to see what things are called. But that's the Death Egg Robot in this one, which again Eggman treats as an entirely new thing despite the fact that he used it in the previous season, so, oops.
I think I can solve this problem. See, Eggman? You're the bad guy, we're the good guys. Maybe since we're the good guys and we brought along all the other shards of the emeralds, and we were just close enough to that 7th one, they all just came back together.
So this is an absolute cop-out of an explanation, which was intentional. I thought that it would be funny if the emeralds were just like, oh yeah, these are the good guys, so we'll work for them. I don't know if it really came off like that, as opposed to just, wow, that's a shitty way to end the season. But yeah, it was a joke, and it does come off as a bit lame, even as a joke. Like I said earlier, there were a multitude of ways to make this season more interesting storytelling-wise, including the Master Emerald, having this whole Shattered Emerald thing be a trick. It just didn't come to me at the time, and the payoff is a lot less than what it could have been because of it. You'll notice that my little rant here, in place of an actual fight scene, is a lot shorter than it was in Season 1 and 2. This was intentional. I wanted to make each of these shorter over time. Had I done one in Season 4 like originally planned, it was just going to be like, hey everyone, the director here, you know what, screw it, and cut back to the aftermath of the fight. Or explain like my frustration very quickly about the lack of a fight scene and stuff. It was all to build up to the fact that there was going to be a fight scene in the series finale. So that's why it's a lot shorter than the Season 1 and 2 ones. That, and I'm just terrible at improvising. And that's about it. I was starting to get better, but with the rewrite from our original plans, seeing how I could have done better with the new plot, and the shortness of the episodes, I see it as the most underwhelming season of the show. I continued to improve as the next season went on, which became very clear by the end of it. But man, did it take a while to get there. That's a tale for next time, however. See you on the next Sonic and Mario Tidbits.